Hey, gun people! Man, this is a good one. My old stomping grounds, too. Video Leak put the video up. Video Leak Police. Anytime I see a gun channel or putting out information that I know YouTube doesn't like, I always sub and I always like. Just to let YouTube know that there's not everybody's the left. Well, anyway, I digress. Let's get to this video. Off-duty cop fatally shoots man during argument over parking space. At Vallejo. This happened in Vallejo. Vallejo cops weren't involved, but look, I know Vallejo cops, and they're not going to find a cop at fault in a shooting unless it's just overwhelming evidence. Now, they don't get the final say. The DA could review this and say, I don't care what Vallejo said, I'm charging you. He probably won't. Now, this cop that was in the shooting is from Richmond, and Richmond is like the brother-sister town of Vallejo. And very high doctor school candidate population, very high crime, very high violence, very high liberal run acceptance, tolerance, sanctuary city, all the things that promote violence. So if there's cops that you probably don't want to challenge, I'd say Vallejo and Richmond are right up at the top. They're used to dealing with the criminal element every day, every call, every way. So you can tell when this Richmond cop gets in a shooting that it's going to be very matter of fact. So let's take a look at this. And I'm going to speed it up here, or I might bump it forward. Okay, so this is the police sergeant, off-duty Richmond sergeant, pulling into a parking spot. Okay? Here he comes. Police sergeant. This guy's over here at the pump. And this guy's going to rush in over here and try to get the spot. Okay? This is the guy that ends up dead. This is the cop. Okay? So, you won't hear anything about this on the media because there's no racial hate involvement and they can't make it into anything. So, this will just be, which the media is always okay with, black people killing black people. I'm not okay with it. I think it's BS. But that's just the way the media is. So, I'm going to concentrate on what the cop did and what this guy did, in case you're involved in a dispute over a parking spot. And I'm going to end up siding with the cop. So, right now, if you're going to start crying that I'm a cop bootlicker and I love this guy, look, I get it. He's got no hair. I don't care. He was right in this incident. I don't care what department he works for. I don't care what he looks like. I don't care if he's got hair. The way I see it, this cop was justified and I'm okay with what he did. Now, the DA may disagree, but I'm telling you my opinion. Okay, here we go. So, this guy, I think, gets offended. I think somewhere it says this guy honked his horn at him, or one of these guys honked their horns. So, you're pulling into a spot, and again, this is Vallejo, so again, probably a high doctor area. This guy is here with his door open, blocking a spot, parked in a handicap, probably ain't handicapped, probably ain't got a spot, but everybody in these high crime areas, everybody's got handicap parking. Okay, so cop pulls in. His wife is next to him. This guy stops behind him. I talk about primary aggressor. Who's trying to escalate? Who's trying to de-escalate? This guy pulled in and ignored him. I know some of you are going to say, well, he's a cop and he cut him off and he thinks he's whatever. This guy pulls into a spot. This guy had the opportunity to leave and move on, and he didn't. Which to me, at this point, makes him more the primary aggressor. I didn't see anything that either one of these guys did that made one of them the primary aggressor until this guy stops and blocks this guy's escape path. Now, of course, the Richmond cop, he knows he's got a gun. He's lawful to carry. He's not concerned about criminals. Other people who they tell can't carry a gun, this criminal with a gun would have won. So they get out, and obviously this guy gets out, and there's words exchanged. What they said, I don't know. Does that matter? Yeah, no. Okay, right here, somebody's going to say, this cop turned around, approached him. This cop, hey, the guy was probably thinking, I don't want this guy going to my car, messing with my wife. I'm going to stop him before he gets up here. I'm okay with him stopping right here. This guy blocks, stops, and walks over to him. Primary aggressor all day, every day in my book. Now he gets in his face and almost puts his hands on him, the hands in there. So who's more confrontational here? I know the cop haters are going to say, it's the bald cop. Well, I don't think it is the bald cop. I think it's this guy. Cop holds up his hands, looks like he's trying to talk sense. Maybe he's saying you're an idiot. I don't know. So, here's where you get into, when you're in these situations, what I call tunnel vision, situational awareness. This cop has no idea this guy's behind him. If this guy is this guy's cousin, which is highly likely in these areas, if this guy is this guy's cousin, he could have hit this cop in the back of the head, he could have stabbed him, he could have shot him. This guy has no idea about this guy. Why? Because he's focused on this guy. Which, I mean, you have to do. You have to focus on the threat in front of you. You can't always be Superman and look at all the threats. But he doesn't even know the threat or the problems behind him. He's looking at the guy in his face. I get it. So now he's about to walk away, and the guy comes back. Again, they are exchanging words. People would define this as mutual combatants. They're both engaged. Look, there's no reason for this guy to park, get out of his car, and come over here unless he's looking for trouble. So, it may sound like I'm taking the cop's side, but hey. Again, cop walks away and actually bumps into this guy because he's got him blocked in. At this point, this cop is trapped. He doesn't go for his gun. I don't know if he identifies himself as a police officer or not. He probably didn't, because this guy wouldn't have pulled a gun if he knew he was a cop. So I don't think this guy told him he was a cop. Could be wrong. Guy walks away and comes back again. Now this guy right here moved toward him, and I know it's going to sound like I'm cop-splaining here, but I think he wanted to create a little distance from this guy. He doesn't want to be backed into this corner with this guy, get in a beef with this guy while he's arguing with this guy. Now this guy's kind of trying to ignore this, saying, hey, I know how shit goes bad in the hood. You got to mind your own business and let people work out their shit. So this guy's trying to avoid it and not get involved. Probably a good move. But he kind of blocks him in. He's just blocked him in, pretty much. So this guy walks away. I don't know what he said, and I don't know what he said. Would that change it? Maybe. If and buts and coconuts. I don't think whatever he said is enough for this guy to pull a gun. Okay. The fact that this guy does not go to his car and get inside is a huge clue. As soon as he opened his hood, I was like, he's going for a gat. I knew damn well he was going for a gun. Right. As soon as he reached for that hood, I was like, he's going for good. He got out of the car. He was driving a car. He's not working on his car. The only reason to open that hood is to go for a weapon. And this cop being from Richmond, I'm sure he knows it too, because you got to be street savvy in these areas. And again, he may be saying, oh, I got something for you. Hang on. Why don't you hang on? I got something for your ass. Why don't you come on back here? Guy walks away. Guy's still talking. And he pulls out a paper bag. Rick, just because he's got a paper bag doesn't mean he's a bad guy. Well, that's because you're an idiot and you don't know that crooks hide guns in paper bags all the time. And the fact that he pulls a bag out of his freaking engine compartment tells me he's a career criminal. He's not supposed to have a gun. And he puts the gun in the hood because most cops don't search the hood of a car. They search the interior. And then the guy goes like, sure, you can search my car. No problem. I don't have any guns. You search the interior and you leave because you're not street savvy enough to go, you know what? I know I'm in the hood. I know these guys are up to no good. I'm checking the engine compartment because they know no cops search there. That's where I'm looking for a gun. Now he's got the gun out of the bag. Okay, right here, I think deadly force was authorized. I think the sergeant could have shot him right now. But unfortunately, I think the cop was caught off guard. There was other people around, and he didn't go for his gun, which I think it was kind of a mistake. Some people may say the cop has balls, and he did a good job. I think it was a mistake. Now he gets on the cop's face here, and you can't really see it here. And as he turns his back and walks away, you can tell right about here, the cop pulled his gun and started shooting when the guy's back was turned. Rick, you can't shoot people in the back. Well, that's because you're an idiot. You can shoot people in the back. This guy was a violent felon. He threatened somebody with a gun. He was a danger to him and his wife and to everyone else. He absolutely can shoot him in the back. Although I think he shoots the car because I think I see a window break. Yeah, it was that window there that broke, I guess. So the cop, not a real good shot. He shoots this window. Guy's standing here, and the cop shoots this window. And the guy ain't even shooting back at him. Watch this. So here he shoots. So the guy standing here, he misses the guy and shoots his back window out. Hopefully there's not a kid right there. So now this guy's like, oh shit, I pulled a gun on somebody with a gun. I'm usually used to pulling gun on people that ain't got guns to where I can take advantage and intimidate and steal their stuff. Now I'm kind of shocked that this guy actually shot at me and had a gun. This is why an armed society is a polite society. What does this guy do even though he has a gun? He runs like the coward he is. Now, does he point the gun and doesn't return fire? I don't know. We're going to see a couple other views of this. Cop takes a couple long shots here, takes a stance. Cop looks pretty relaxed. If you know anything about Richmond, there's a lot of shootings in Richmond. You know anything about Vallejo? There's a lot of shootings in Vallejo. So it's not uncommon for cops to either be at shootings, be around shootings, or be in shootings. So this cop looks pretty calm to me. His wife even looks calm. She's going to walk up there and stand behind her husband. Cop's walking pretty nonchalant. For being in a shooting, this guy's like, oh shit, I'm going to have to buy some more bullets now. I got to clean my gun. I got to do some paper. Shit. All right, here's a different view. Guy gets out. They have their little confrontation. They get in the face. I'm going to bump it up here. See these two people trying to get in their car. Again, he doesn't see this. You're going to see him walk away. And I want you to watch this cop keep his eye on this guy. And this cop telegraphs that he's got a gun. I don't know if he knows it, but he telegraphs it. Watch this cop. When this guy pulls his gun out, he's looking over his shoulder. Notice he's holding his shirt. He's got gun, what I call gun awareness. We usually keep our elbow on our gun. This guy got his hand on his gun. He's got gun awareness. He doesn't want to pull it out if he doesn't want to, but he's ready. This is why I think this is a good shooting all day long. So now he leans back to see what the guy is doing, because he's probably talking shit. Oh, I got something for your ass. Hang on, I got something for you. That's hood talk for I'm going to shoot, stab, or beat you. So the cop knows. He's watching, sees the bag, doesn't go for his gun. Now he sees the gun. He's like, shit. He doesn't think he can get his gun out right now. He's kind of caught, and he lets this guy walk on him. Now, some are going to argue that if he was in fear of his life, why didn't he go for his gun here? And that might be a legal argument. I think the cop's going to say, tactically speaking, I knew he had me. If I went for my gun, I was going to endanger my life and the people behind me. And that's why I didn't go for it. He had me dead to rights. I was going to try and talk my way out of it. And I think that's reasonable too. But I don't know if he was thinking that or not. Guy turns his head, kind of blades his body a little bit. I don't know what he says. Maybe he's apologizing. Maybe he got nice. But he turns his gun side to him. And you notice, I'm noticing his hands on his gun. He's telegraphing that he has a gun. Guy walks up to him, doesn't threaten him. So here's where the DA will have to decide. Was this cop in fear of his life? Was he really scared? And did he need to shoot this guy? My defense would be, or my argument would be, this guy pulled a gun. He brandished a gun. He threatened somebody. That's a felony. He's a fleeing felon. This guy is a cop. He just went under the color of authority. And if he drew his gun and said stop or shot him, it could have caused the guy to shoot him. He didn't want the guy to leave. Therefore, he shot him in the back. I'm okay. Again, to me, if it's a tie between a bad guy and a cop, tie usually goes to the cop. When government is evaluating things, ties always go to the government, never to the citizens. I don't agree with that. So the guy's walking away. Here's where he goes for his gun. Gets his gun out. The guy sees him. Does he give him a chance to give up? Does the guy point his gun at him? This is probably the most critical part that the DAs are going to sit around and kind of go, man, he had him. At this point right now, is this cop justified in what he's doing? Absolutely 100%. When he fires here, is he justified? I don't know. If he told the guy to drop the gun and the guy didn't, the guy was turning toward him. If the cop waited, he could have got shot. This guy shouldn't have had a gun, shouldn't have pulled a gun, and shouldn't have approached him with a gun. This guy's at fault. Therefore, any close calls goes to the cop. I'm okay with the shooting. So he shoots out the window. Guy turns and runs. He's running away. They say he points the gun at him in the police report. I didn't see that. Guy's running away and he shoots him in the back. I do not see the guy. Maybe right here he turned and pointed. I don't know. To me, he's still running and he goes down. That was a long shot. That was a great shot by this cop. This guy is out of uniform. Guy just pulled a gun on him. He pulled a gun, returned fire. The guy ran off. He got his stance, and he took a long shot with a pistol and took this guy down. And the guy died. Hang on, they show another angle here. Here's where the cutoff is. I'm just going to bump here because we kind of saw all this. I want to get to where the guy's running away. Now, believe me, this Richmond cop isn't backing down. I'm sure this Richmond cop isn't saying, hey, man, I'm really sorry. Can't we all just get along? I'm pretty sure the Richmond cop isn't saying that. But it doesn't matter. This guy got a gun because he thought he was dealing with a victim. He thought he could intimidate. He thought he could keep a gun in the hood of his car where the cops couldn't find it, and now he's going to intimidate this guy. Probably the gun either wasn't loaded, probably never fired it. I mean, most crooks' guns that we get, they wouldn't shoot. They have no firing pin. They got old ammo. They got the wrong freaking ammo. So crooks aren't your best adversaries when they want to challenge you. Now, how can you figure that out in the heat of the moment? You can't. So they go up here. Guy walks away with the gun. And here's where the window gets shot out. Window shot out. I don't think he hits the guy. Maybe he does. Guy runs. I never see him point the gun. Then we go to here. Hang on, there's one more view. Okay, so here goes the guy running away, I think. Still got the gun. He figured the guy would stop shooting once he went away. Again, I am not seeing him point. Now, I want you to notice this dude. This dude right here. This is called hood awareness. When the shots start firing, you got to beat feet and create distance. People in the hood know that. Watch this guy immediately react when the shots are fired. Boom. Oh, hell no, I'm out of here. Boom. He's creating distance. He's good to go in my book. He's getting the hell out of Dodge. This guy's running. I never see him point the gun at the cop. The police report says he points the gun. This is where the DA could charge. He did raise the gun up right there. Did y'all see that? The gun does come up. Right here. I'm going to go frame by frame. See what we got. See what he's pointing at. Okay, that's not what I would consider a running movement. That gun kind of comes up. But what's he pointing at? Man, it looks like he's aiming at something. So right here, the cop could say, hey, I was defending another person. This guy's got a gun at another person. He's definitely aiming at something. But I don't think he turns the gun on the cop that I can see. Yeah, he's still taking fire. I never see the gun come with the cop. That's my opinion. Does that matter? To me, not really. This guy was a danger to the public. He was a fleeing felon and he had a gun. He was an armed, dangerous, fleeing felon. I'm okay with the shooting. This guy made a bad judgment call getting gas and decided to pick on anybody. Here's the report. I don't remember if it shows the cop walking up to him. Okay. So here's the press release. I thought it was shooting investigation. Here's what they're going to tell the police. 500 block Fairgrounds, City of Vallejo, V-Town, investigators, Solano County District Attorney. So the DA's office sent District Attorney investigators out there also, and a Vallejo police warrant to a joint. Identifies the deceased 38-year-old Vallejo resident. They did not identify the Vallejo resident as having a 14-page rap sheet, a felon in possession of a gun, knowing that gun control doesn't work. He wasn't supposed to have a gun. They don't say any of that. I'm saying it, and I can almost guarantee you I'm right. Preliminary investigation revealed reason was driving away from a gas pumps, shopping center, an off-duty Richmond police sergeant driving his personal vehicle, pulled in the parking lot. Two vehicles momentarily stopped when the sergeant honked his horn to audibly warn the other driver of his presence. So the sergeant admitted that he honked his horn at the guy. Sergeant Thomas then pulled his personal vehicle in the parking stall. Reasons then stopped his vehicle perpendicular to the officer's vehicle, rolled down his window and began yelling at Thomas. Reason then exited his vehicle and walked over within inches of Sergeant Thomas while directing profanities at him. Okay, I don't have any audio, but I would agree with that. Reasons then walked back to his vehicle, opened the hood, and retrieved a rag containing a handgun. Reason armed himself with a handgun and approached Sergeant Thomas a second time. I agree, that's what the video shows. Sergeant Thomas subsequently drew his weapon, fired at Reason in response to an observed threat. Oh, that kind of smooths over kind of what we saw. Actually, Reason went over to Thomas, threatened him with the handgun, then turned away, and while he was walking away, Sergeant Thomas drew his gun and shot at Reason when his back was to him. That would have been a more accurate report for me. But, you know, who am I? Nope. Let's go back here. Oh, it stops right here. Reasons then exited his vehicle. Let's see. Reasons fled with the gun in his hand. At some point, raised the gun. He did raise the gun. He didn't raise the gun at the sergeant. He raised the gun. He did. Saw that in the video. Sergeant Thomas believed that Reason still posed an immediate threat and safety to Sergeant Thomas, his wife, who was a passenger vehicle, and other patrons shopping at the complex. That's pretty accurate. So, I'm okay with the shooting. I agree. This tie goes to the cop. So, you can hate on me and tell me I'm cop love, whatever. That's my take on it. I thought this was a great learning tool. I thought the sergeant did pretty good. And I don't know if I wouldn't have went for my gun, took cover behind that car, and probably went for my gun as soon as I saw a gun. So the sergeant got some pretty cool beans to stand there, face the guy with a gun, and wait for his moment to draw. All right, we'll end that there.